All right, ladies and gents, boys and girls, excuse me, happy Tuesday. Hope you're all doing well. Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in. I'm Chris Phillips, host the Daily Crow, the Spurs Up Show as always. And we are here taking your questions, your comments, and your calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I do want to hear from you. Let's see. I see Brian Lattimore, Brian Dean, Phil, Travi, Darius, Cody Gaskins, Todd Smith. What's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in. If you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, however, the TDC Questions channel, to be sure your questions are answered. Let's see. Brennan M. already commenting. Y'all have fun on the Daily Crow. Oh, classes interfering with the Daily Crow, Brendan. Sometimes you have to make a brave decision. I don't know, man. Sometimes you got to make a brave decision. No, either way, we support Brendan in getting his education, getting his degree. So either way, guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. Got a lot to discuss. It is game day. South Carolina basketball headed to Rocky Top to take on Tennessee. Of course, we can talk football with what Shane Beamer is doing in the portal, in recruiting. Of course, the national championship last night. Whatever you guys want to discuss, I want to hear from you. Again, that's 843-790-3377. Guys, before we do dive into everything, I want to tell you about our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm because, of course, as always, the Daily Crow is brought to you by our friends at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Guys, they're young but experienced and aggressive attorneys. They're both former prosecutors who used to represent insurance companies, but switching sides. They both worked at larger law firms where they represented hundreds of clients at a time. And guys, they both left to start their own law firm because they understand you're not just a number. You're a real human being, and you should be treated as such. They're a small boutique law firm that treats the clients like family. Guys are going to know who you are again and treat you like a client and not a number like I mentioned. They handle injury cases that arise from car accidents and work accidents. Guys, do not try to take on the insurance company yourself. Been involved in any type of action, no matter what it might be, the last thing that you should be dealing with, worrying about dealing with paperwork, the insurance company. Let the experts over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm handle it for you guys. They use the latest technology to make representation efficient yet effective. Again, let them take care of everything for you guys. You don't even pay them unless they recover money for you. Rami's in Columbia, Curtis in Charleston. They handle cases statewide. They also offer virtual or in-person consultations at no charge. Guys, give them a call today in Columbia, 803-973-0304, or in their Somerville location, 843-388-3368, or, of course, your one-stop shop, their website, dsinjurylaw.com. That is dsinjurylaw.com for more information. Again, guys, that's our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. By the way, before we get going, quick shout out, the merchandise, the hat looking fire. And how about the shirt? There's only one Carolina. Love to see Shane Beamer doused in mayonnaise. Still celebrating the Duke's Mayo Bowl victory. Hunter Herlong says, appreciate the hell out of you for showing me Prize Picks. Won some big money. Hunter, great to hear that. Thank you for playing, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's incredible. Good stuff. Good stuff for sure. Let's see. Austin Greer says, my students came back from Christmas break Monday, so I can only watch the Daily Crow from 12 to 12:10. That's unfortunate, Austin. But hey, you're doing the damn thing. Keep fighting the good fight, my friend. That's why you can always watch it on replay, my guy. It's on YouTube every single day. It's still on, it's on Twitter. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can watch it on replay everywhere, wherever you prefer. So at least that's the good news. But I appreciate you, Austin. Again, keep doing the damn thing. Let's see. Yes, Brian Dean, master of the transfer portal. Master of the transfer portal. Let's see. Yeah, Wesley Newmar, loving on the transfer for sure. We can talk about each guy if you like. I mean, obviously some huge pickups, man. You think about the kid from James Madison. I mean, it's obvious why that one's a big deal. Addressing that need in the transfer portal, a position of need, the wide receiver position. This kid setting records on records on records at JMU, 15 touchdowns a season ago. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So Justin Kyle says, honestly, man, as much as I'm sick of Bama winning it, I didn't want UGA to get one either. Well, no kidding. I didn't want UGA to win it either. To hell with Georgia, especially with Muschamp. That's really, honestly, like, I love sports. And we all love great stories in sports. And so I hate Georgia, but there was a part of me that was like, man, this has been 42 years in the making for them. So, and I got a buddy that works on Georgia's staff. And again, guys, I don't like Georgia by any stretch, but I was like, you know what? Good for them. They got one, I guess. But then I remembered who was on their staff, and I was like, oh, my God. Like, I'll tell you guys this. I do not hate Will Muschamp on a personal level. Not at all. On a sports level, I have some disdain. I have some distaste, and I'll leave it at that. And, yeah, I've seen people saying what Brandon Watt's saying. Well, it's title number 2 for him. Well, dude, the fact of the matter is it's title number 1 for him after driving us into the dirt. So, whatever. Is what it is. Is what it is. Is what it is. Either way, John Kruger, yes, Shane Beamer is killing it in the portal for sure. Luke Boyd, do you think Spencer will wear number 7 next season? I think so. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I think he will. Coach Ford says Beamer's done well in the portal. The Wake kid is good. Watch the JMU kid play against North Dakota State, and he's solid. The Central Michigan guy looks solid at a position of need. Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing. Again, we're not bringing in guys, I feel like, at least, just from what we can tell in recruiting and get them out of the portal, we're not bringing in guys that are like just roster fillers. We're actually bringing in dudes that are going to help us. They're going to help us immediately. So really excited for that. Again, Shane Beamer continues to crush, man. Like I told you guys, we ain't done. I told you yesterday after the first one that we ain't done. Of course, Devontae Reed comes over. The kid from Wake comes over, running back. I think that's a huge pickup because after Harris and White leave, you think you want to bring in some more guys for competition, if you will, and a guy who can be productive. I think certainly he fits in that role. And then, of course, like I said, guys, the kid from JMU, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Why that's a big deal. It's a position of need. You got to have some weapons around Spencer Rattler. So, and I don't think we're done yet. I still don't think we're done. I still don't think we're done. I really don't. I still don't think we're done. Terrence says, Chris, who do you think was the best pickup this week in the portal? Well, Terrence, it's a good question because I think each guy is going to help you differently. I mean, off the top of my head, that wide receiver from JMU, I think, might be the most impactful. And again, it's just at a position where you need playmakers so badly. So, I think that's a big deal. Coach Ford, the running back only has 1 year. He's basically just using his COVID year. He's basically just going to be using his COVID year. He played 4 years at Wake. So, I think just 1 year for him. The kid from JMU's got 3 years, though. So, Keith in the TDC Questions channel says, I see what's happening around our football team. With everyone that is coming back and experienced players out of the portal, we are building, which I feel is the most important thing, competitive depth, something we've lacked for years. Indeed. Yeah, Keith, indeed. Listen, man, you watched that game last night. I know we all watched it. Alabama, Georgia. What a great game that was. But you watch that game. Coaching's very important. Jimmy's and Joe's are immensely important. And, I said it on social media last night. Again, we can continue to, I'd love to honestly have this discussion because I know while it may be 236 or so days away, it's never too early to look ahead. And I know we all probably had the same thought. We all had the same thought that watching that game that, man, it would be so cool to see the Gamecocks in this game one day. And then I caught myself because I thought, hey, South Carolina's never even won an SEC championship, much less made a national title. But, you just watch those two teams, man. You watch those two teams, without a doubt, the two best teams in college football. And it's not even close. It's not even close. It's not even close. By far the two best teams in college football. The thing that really stands out to me from last night, and I know I've harped on it before, and it's boring. It's not the sexiest thing to discuss. And I'm not trying to take away from any of the positive things we've done thus far because we've done tons of positive things in Shane Beamer's first season and throughout this offseason, if you will, and going into 2022. Line of scrimmage. That to me is the biggest difference. That's the biggest difference in the elites and the middle of the pack and the below average teams. You got to start getting some guys up front that look like them guys at Alabama and Georgia, man. You just do. You want to peek at why Clemson's been so successful. I know we hate to hear it, but they have. They've been very successful. The reason they've been so successful, I saw a statistic since 2012, Clemson has the most sacks in college football, guys. That's why. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. You got to start going and getting these guys that looked like Devin Taylor and Chaz Sutton and Jadeveon Clowney and Kelsey Quarles and Melvin Ingram and A.J. Cann on the offensive side and T.J. Johnson. You got to start going and getting these guys. That's where it's going to be won or lost, is in those trenches. That's where it's going to be won or lost. And I've said it before and I'll say it again Because, again, here's the scary thing. I don't know about scary thing, but here's just the reality. We can sit here and say stars don't matter, but they do. They do. At the end of the day, they do. Because Georgia and Alabama played in the national title last night. Those teams are in the top 5 of the recruiting rankings every single year. The stars do matter to a degree. And I'm not saying this to be a Debbie Downer today. It's fine. But right now, as what Steve Spurrier did in his tenure, we have got to be card counters at the blackjack table. We got to do more with less. That's just where we are right now. Now, once you start winning games and you keep building momentum, I think that's how the classes start to get better and better and better. You go every year having top 25 classes. Then you bump it up. Every year you have top 20 classes. Then you're having top 15 classes. Then you get top 10 classes. Once you start getting top 10 classes, then all of a sudden I think you're really competing at that high level. And I know we didn't necessarily do that even under Spurrier. We didn't even do that under Spurrier, but we hit on a lot of guys that we were, again, master talent evaluators and master talent developers. So, again, I found myself watching that game last night, again, just with dreams of, man, I'd love to see South come here. And then I had to reel myself back in. Because it's like, let's focus on going 8-4 first. Let's focus on hitting double-digit wins first. Let's focus on that. And, again, I said this on social media, and I'll say it again right here. Realistically, it's going to take 5 to 6 years of recruiting, guys. It's not going to be to get to that level where it's like we are realistically challenging a Georgia to go to Atlanta. It's going to take 5 to 6 years of recruiting because Coach Ford says it here, depth of stars matters. Every 5-star does not work out, but backing him up with another 5-star matters. Indeed. Hey, Alabama's had misses, man. They've had misses in recruiting, believe it or not. Georgia has had misses. But when they miss, they have another elite prospect to follow up with. You know what I mean? So, again, I'm not saying all this to I'm just keeping it a buck with you. I'm just keeping it real with you that, I'm excited for what Shane Beamer's doing. That's why I've said, though, in the past, let's continue to be patient with Shane Beamer. And again, I don't think any Gamecock fans are out there saying, well, if we don't make the national title next year, nobody's saying that. But I'm just saying that, when we're struggling against the Georgias, when we're struggling even against the Clemsons, when we're struggling against the Texas A&Ms, I know it's frustrating. But I think we all need to just try to be patient because those teams are elite for a reason. They are. I mean, the way they've recruited, not just in a year span or two. I mean, dude, Georgia's been recruiting at a high level forever. I mean, Clemson's been recruiting at a high level since the last decade. I mean, it takes a while. It takes a bit. You know what I mean? So, again, that's not to say we can't have, a really good season. And I see my guy Dalton in the chat going crazy today. I think Dalton's convinced we're going to win a national title. I think Dalton's convinced we're going to win a national title. Again, I'm not here to kill any optimism, anything, guys. Again, we got 236 days till kickoff. But I made this point on social media as well. What has to start happening? And my guy Travis Lee comments here. What's got to start happening for South Carolina to even start thinking about, even start dreaming about, really, getting back to Atlanta like it did in 2010? Well, I'll tell you this, guys. First things first. I mean, we can say recruiting, adding players. That's a given. First things first is this. To hell with beating Georgia. To hell with beating Clemson. To hell with beating A&M. If you ain't beating Kentucky and Mizzou on a yearly basis, then the rest of the conversation is a moot point. You got to get back to beating Kentucky and Mizzou on a yearly basis. You already beat Vandy, whatever. Throw them out. You got to beat Kentucky and Missouri, man. You just have to. You just have to. None of anything else matters. None of anything else matters if you don't beat Kentucky and Missouri. Nothing. Because guess what? If you're not beating Kentucky and Missouri, you sure as shit ain't beating Clemson. You're surely not beating them. So you got to start beating the Kentuckys and the Mizzous of the world, man. And that's not for me to take away anything from Kentucky or what Drinkwitz is trying to build in Como. And I know Kentucky fans, they take it so personally because dude, I mean, everybody still looks at Kentucky as a basketball school. Nobody gives Kentucky respect. I feel like I've put as much respect on Kentucky football's name as any Gamecock out there. But it's still, at the end of the day, that's one you have to win. You know, we talk about SEC East hierarchy and, you know, where you kind of sit. You can't even worry about the Georgias and the Floridas if you're falling behind Kentucky. You just can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. And that's why when I gave my way too early predictions last week, you know, I labeled Kentucky as the most important game. I just, you know, I hate to keep doing that because I feel like I do that every year. I label it the most important game. I know last year I didn't, but I mean, maybe if you want to label Arkansas week 2, but the season just, I hate to say this, the season feels empty when you don't beat Kentucky. You could go 8-4, but if you lose to Kentucky, it's just like, what did we accomplish anything? Like, what did we do? You know, it just, and I get it. I get it, man. I get it. I know I'm almost contradictory because, you know, I told you guys in year 1, you know, don't take it so hard. Don't take it personally. You know, when you lost to Kentucky, but it still stings. I mean, it does. It still stings. But I'm just saying, at some point, you got to get back to beating them on a yearly basis. At some point. Will it be this year in Lexington? I mean, a tough game, and you've struggled there immensely. So, who knows? But, you know, it's going to be a slow grind. It's going to be a slow grind, and I trust in Shane Beamer. I trust in what he's building. But I think, again, let's all, you know, the goal is to get to 8 wins. You know, that's the next step, I think. You know, I again, it's almost a little bit unhealthy watching that game last night, having dreams and visions of Gamecocks football in the national title. It's like, let's just go win 8 games first. Let's go win 8 games, right? Because here's the thing, guys. I don't know, too, if in college football people appreciate how tough it is to win a national championship. Because guess what? Every other SEC school was sitting there watching that game last night with the same exact thought as us. Man, it'd be great to be there. And guess what? Every other SEC school is doing everything in their power to get there. We're not the only ones. You know, we're not the only ones. So that's why, you know, that's why I really try to take the offseason hype stuff with a grain of salt, because everybody's saying that stuff, man. Everybody's saying that stuff. So, hey, it is what it is. Again, I'm not here to be Debbie Downer or anything on a Tuesday, but it's, you know, I'm excited for what Coach Beamer's building, but it's going to be a slow grind. You got to hit in recruiting. You got to hit in the portal. You got to get those difference makers, if you will, and, you know, see what happens. So, we got a text here. Somebody texts in and says that Beamer Rattler hat is fire. Definitely going to scoot that. Enjoy watching the show, brother. Keep up the great content. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like this hat as well. I do like this hat as well. No, it's good stuff, man. Thank you so much. He also says, man, recruiting's the name of the game. Alabama and Georgia on another level, and it shows on the field. Beamer has us in the right track for sure. Excited for 2022. I agree. Dude, I'm excited as well. I'm fired up. I'm pumped. Let's see. Dalton Hines. Do people think we have a shot to finish 3rd in the East next year? I think so. I think it's very possible. I think a lot of it depends on what Florida does under Billy Napier. You know, Georgia's going to win the East. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. They're going to win the East. I told you guys, win or lose last night, Georgia ain't going away. They're not. They're not going away. So it could happen, though. Jesse Jacobs says 8-4 is very realistic possibility for this squad next season. Just about making it happen. Yeah, dude, my way too early predictions were 8-4. T-Mac, defensive back from OU, just entered the transfer portal. T-Mac, do you really think we need another DB? That's just my question. I mean, I love that we just snag guys in the portal, but I think I'm good on defensive backs. I think I want to see us add some offensive linemen and another wide receiver maybe. We're bringing in 6 DBs in our signing class. I think we're good on DBs. That's just my opinion. Connor Lee, what are the chances of the men's basketball team making the NCAA tournament in your eyes? what would I put it percentage-wise right now? I mean, 50%. I feel like I'm being a little generous, but 50%. I'll do 50. I don't know if you guys saw this, by the way. The Gamecocks are a 15.5-point underdog in that game tonight. That's shocking to me. I mean, I know Tennessee's a solid club. They're ranked 22nd in the country, but good God. I did not I didn't expect the line to be that freaking big. But at Thompson Bowling Arena, it's going to be a tough game. Justin says, I see us beating both Kentucky and Missouri with the firepower we got coming. Also think the Arkansas game will be a close one, maybe a field goal game. I mean, dude, if you beat Kentucky and Mizzou in 2022, you had a very successful season in my mind. I think you really did. Coach Ford says, Georgia State's an important game. They'll not roll over for us or anyone. Elliott will certainly want to make a statement as well. I hear you, Coach Ford. I do agree. I think we will stomp Georgia State. I think Spencer Rattler is going to have a huge debut. I think he's going to, I'm not trying to give a way too early prediction, but I think we'll have a lot of success in that ball game. Luke Boy, give me your way too early Georgia, South Carolina score. Well, it kind of depends, Luke, what we do up to that point. You got Georgia State. You beat Arkansas week 2. I mean, all of a sudden, you never know. That'll be a night game. You might have college game day. You'll have momentum. I still think Georgia's on another level. I got Georgia winning 35 to, we'll say, 24, something like that. I just think Georgia's on a different level. But again, that's way too early. Way too early. Let's see. My guy, USC Insider. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, USC Insider. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you for the love and the super chat. Yeah, guys, if you want to support the content, support the channel, support everything we do, and you're on YouTube, you can through super chat and super stickers. By the way, in case you missed it, you're going to want to join the Big Cock Club, folks, if you haven't already done so, because we got some big-time interviews upcoming over the next week or so. Yesterday, I got to sit down and chat with a good friend of the show, former Gamecocks wide receiver, Torrey Gurley. Got his full thoughts on the 2021 football season, the Spencer Rattler edition, Shane Beamer, outlook moving forward, all that good stuff. Also, this morning, you may have seen on social media, got to hang out and chat with former Gamecocks kicker and the all-time points leader, Parker White. So, those will be Big Cock Club exclusive interviews. We'll have content and clips from those conversations on social media. But if you want to hear the full conversation, you want to see the video, all that good stuff, that's going to be on the Big Cock Club, patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Or if you go to any of our links in bio on social media, you'll see the link to the Big Cock Club. Again, those conversations, I'm not sure exactly which one's going to drop when, but Thursday, Monday is when you can expect those conversations to be released. Again, really, really good stuff. Appreciate both those guys taking their time. Talking to Parker White was incredible. Great young dude, great young man. I'm really excited for what he's going to do at the NFL, but really great conversations. Be sure you join the Big Cock Club today. Twan Love Kick says 5-star recruits is what separates us from Clemson, Georgia, Alabama. We have to find a way to get them to South Carolina. Yeah, I mean, again, Jimmy's and Joe's, man. Jimmy's and Joe's. Jadeveon Clowney wasn't a great player just because he loved football. He's a specimen, and he's a freak of nature, and there's a reason he's the top-rated recruit ever. Keith, in the TDC question channel, says, any word on Sandage? He must have been really hurt to miss all year. I mean, yeah, I think, Keith, he broke his leg. So, I mean, I'd assume he'd be back for spring ball. I mean, I don't think that's something really Shane Beamer's updated yet, but I'd imagine he'll be back for spring ball. I mean, he missed the entire year, so – Brandon Watt says, our way too early pick, 45-27 UGA. Cody Gaskins, I think we can sign 3 more guys. I'm not 110% sure. I think we can sign 3 more guys. Luke Boyd, do you think Spencer brings the energy to this program, and do you think he's another reason why a lot of guys decided to stay? I actually talked about that with Parker White. I'm really excited for you guys to hear that, like I said. But, I mean, I think that. But I think just as a whole, the positive energy and the positive momentum and what Shane Beamer, I think it's a testament to what he's built and what he's building. Guys want to play for him. Guys want to play here because it's fun. Guys want to play where it's fun, man. Guys want to play where it's fun. So, yeah, I think it's a testament to Beamer and what he's building and the positive energy and momentum around the program. And certainly you look at adding Spencer Rattler. I think that brings a ton of energy to the program. Absolutely, man. It puts you all of a sudden in the national spotlight for a positive reason. So it's nothing but a plus and a positive to Gamecocks football. Tyler Winchester said, this is the most excited I've ever been as a Gamecock fan. As great as most of the Spurrier days were, it's just something about Beamer and his love for the school that just makes you feel even better about where we are headed. It says he's going to have us competing for an SEC championship in 5 to 6 years. I got that feeling. I mean, Tyler, again, it's I feel like, and I'm not taking anything away from how you feel. We always love to say, oh, the greatest of all time. This is the best I've ever felt. Like, realistically, I mean, I feel great about the future of Gamecocks football. Was I more excited about South Carolina football going into the summer of 2013, even the summer of 2014? Now, I'll never forget how excited I was going into the football season those 2 years. I mean, truly having visions of the Gamecocks winning the SEC. Like how many seasons realistically have there been that we've gone into the season as a South Carolina football fan and said to ourselves, we can realistically win the SEC? Realistically, I'm not saying dreams. I'm saying, like, we got the team. We got the dudes. I mean, few and far between. That's one of the things I love about Gamecocks baseball, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. The beautiful thing about South Carolina baseball, outside of Dawn Staley's squad, out of the big three, it's the only sport on campus where year after year after year, I go into every season saying, we may not be ranked top 5 or top 10 or what have you. It doesn't even matter what the rankings are. I go into every season feeling like if things work out, if these guys pan out, this goes our way, we can win a championship. Like, we can actually win a championship. And that's such a great feeling. That's such a great feeling. And I hope we do get to that point where, we feel like, hey, we got the squad to do it. Again, that's not taking anything away from what we're doing. It's just realizing the task at hand. It's very hard. It's very hard to win a championship. Very, very hard. Dalton Hines, do you think our baseball team's improved enough to make another run to Omaha this year? It'll depend on the pitching, Dalton. It'll depend on the pitching. So you got to answer questions in the preseason in pitching. So, you got to answer those questions in pitching. Let's see. We got another text here on the text line. Surprised we don't have a call yet. Text here on the text line. Says, Chris, Clemson's won the national championship in 2016 and 18. Georgia's won the national title in 2021. Gamecocks, got to be patient. For sure. Yeah, got to be patient. Absolutely. I believe in Shane Beamer what he's doing, man. I believe in Shane Beamer what he's doing. So let's just let it play out, see what happens, and we'll give him hell in the process. Justin Martin, Chris, what are the chances South Carolina basketball to win back-to-back road games? Well, you're 15.5-point underdogs. You're 15.5-point underdogs, so doesn't seem like it bodes well. I picked South Carolina to lose 76-66. I think that Tennessee just has too much firepower. I think going on the road, I think it's going to be very, very tough. But who knows? You never know. It'd be a huge win. And I think Tennessee, though, too, the thing that I think you got to think about, Tennessee's 1-2 in conference. They just lost their last conference game over the weekend to LSU. They need a win bad. I mean, they can't afford to fall to 1-3, especially on their home floor. Lance, my guy, what's going on? Brandon Watts says Robbie's on the way. John Gibbs, 10, 11, and 13. Yeah, for sure. Oh, John saying, let's see. 3 times you felt that way. I got you. Let's see. Kenny Trill set us back 10 years. Connor Lee says, if you're Beamer, how are you going to utilize the 2 4-star quarterbacks behind Rattler? You develop them. Yeah, you develop them. They will not. I mean, they shouldn't. They're not probably going to play this year. I mean, I would hope they don't play. That means Spencer Rattler's balling out and he's healthy. You just groom them, develop them, get them ready for when their time, when their time comes. So Brian Dean says, I think our baseball team makes an Omaha run. I believe in Kingston. I believe in Kingston too, and I like this team a lot. Again, the questions revolve around the pitching staff. You have a lot of guys to replace. Have a lot of guys to replace in regards to your pitching staff, but I think we're going to be a much better hitting club. Again, guys, like I told you, next week, we'll actually start talking Carolina baseball. Next week, we will start breaking down Gamecocks baseball in the position unit previews. Of course, Tuesday is literally a week from today is 1 month from opening day. So we'll start counting down to baseball season. So it's going to be a very exciting month, very exciting countdown to first pitch. Going to be a lot of fun. So again, guys, I'll have full breakdowns of this team. Trust me, again, like I told you all before, it's meant as no slight as anybody, but there's nobody that covers Carolina baseball the way that we do. There's nobody that covers Carolina baseball the way that I do. So you're going to get the most in-depth, passionate, by the way, breakdown of Carolina baseball you can find over the next month. And then, of course, the week of opening day, that's when I'll really lock in my team preview as a whole, season preview, and I'll lock in my prediction as well for the season. So, again, I mean, as you guys know, it's really fun, too, by the way. It's really fun, too, early in the season when baseball and basketball overlap. I mean, again, I say content bleeding out the eyeballs, but that is truly content bleeding out of the eyeballs. And you love to see it. You love to see it, man, because when you have that many games, the content almost just makes itself. It's a really, really good time. But I'm looking forward to it. But in the meantime, basketball. I'll ask you guys this. And again, the reason we all love to conversate and chat here on the Daily Crow is because we can all be very honest with each other, open and honest, and just keep it real, right? Is it hard to be fired up for Gamecocks basketball on the men's side, of course? Is it hard to be fired up for Gamecocks basketball when you're going into a game as a 15.5 point underdog? Because, like, I'm excited for the game tonight, and I'm not saying, like, Vegas, I'm not saying Vegas should dictate, like, how you feel about a game and everything, but it's normally a pretty good indication. It's normally a pretty fair indication. And so, like, when I woke up this morning, and I went and looked at the line, and I saw the line, I'm just like, oh, my God. Like, I was like, I already felt like it was going to be a stretch for us to go on the road and win. But it's just like, good Lord. Like, I don't know. It's like, it's almost just like another shot, if you will. Another punch to the gut going to the game. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? You never know. I mean, the game's not played in a casino, as I've said before. The game's not played on paper. It's played on the court. So in college basketball, big-time upsets, they happen. Big-time upsets happen. So, I think for this team, I think for this team, honestly, the goal is simply just going to be stay at 500 or slightly above it. That's going to be the goal because, most likely you lose tonight. You got Florida at home Saturday. It's going to be almost like I hate to say must win, but it's going to feel like a must win scenario. That's what it's going to feel like. So, Cyrus Lowry, I agree that Stone Blanton is going to be a huge addition for this team. Absolutely. Oh, look at my guy Lance on the feed. Said, maybe I drank one too many lattes to come into work today. Attaboy, Lance. Pour them up. Carolina Titans says, I just want to see consistent play from Frank and the boys. I really view tonight as somewhat of a measuring stick game. I really do. I view it as a measuring stick game because you think of South Carolina to this point. You're 1-1 in conference play. You lost at home to a now top 5 Auburn team, so no shame in that. And then you went on the road to Nashville and beat a solid, not great, but a solid Vandy team in the final seconds. I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle, like just how good is this team, if you will. Again, I don't think any of us have, over-the-top expectations, but I think tonight's going to be a great measuring stick for where South Carolina basketball is. Again, like I told you guys, I think the battle is to stay at 500 or slightly above. Again, you're at 1-1 right now. And as I mentioned earlier, Tennessee's 1-2. So I think they're going to play with their hair on fire. They've got to bounce back after an ugly loss against LSU over the weekend. They got to bounce back and get a W. But I'll be curious to see, again, as 15.5 point underdogs, just how South Carolina hangs in this one, just how South Carolina fares in this one, if you will. Because, again, is Tennessee really 15.5 points better than you? I don't know. I don't know that they are. And, again, so I don't know that you can really gauge how good the Gamecocks are from that game against Auburn. And then we don't really know what to think about Vanderbilt either. So I think tonight's going to be a great measuring stick and really give you a great indication on where this team sort of is, at least early in SEC play. Justin Kyle says, Auburn's the best team in the league. Tennessee's a little behind them. If we can keep this game close, it would say a lot. Brian Dean says, I see Eric Stevenson going off tonight. He is due for a monster game. Jimmy Mendigo, why'd the kicker dip? I'm assuming you're talking about Cole Hanna. Just wants an opportunity to kick, my guy. I think Mitch Jeter is probably in line to be the next kicker for you. So, anyways, guys, we are rocking and rolling. Justin Kyle says, hell yes, it's hard to be fired up. I love Martin and think he should keep his job, but I get at some point people are tired of not at least making the NIT. Very fair. That's very fair. Very, very fair. So, Phil staying up late, the nighttime grind, if you on the podcast. Love to see that, Phil. Keep burning that midnight oil, Phil. Let's see. Again, guys, we are rocking and rolling here on a Tuesday. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. We're going to go ahead and jump into our first break of the show. But again, I want to continue to hear from you. It's game day. Gamecocks taking on Tennessee on Rocky Top. We can talk that. Also recruiting. Also the national title last night. Whatever you guys want to dive into. So again, folks, that's 843-790-3377. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. Want to continue to hear from you. It's crazy, guys, to think. I was thinking about this over the break. College football's over. College football season's officially over. Kind of wild, man. It's just crazy that we spend so much time breaking it down, and then you start the season off, starting it off against EIU and go through bowl season, and now it's officially done. So we are fully engulfed now with basketball. Of course, recruiting will continue, but we're fully engulfed with basketball, and of course, baseball right around the corner. Right around the corner. Connor Lee says, I was rocking my Beamer ball hat over Christmas break, and our family friends who are Clemson fans are giving me crap and called you a clown. You must have gotten under their skin. Keep doing a great job. Connor, the day that I give a damn what a Clemson fan thinks about me is the day that I will quit. So slapdick's going to slapdick, man. That's just it. Bad day to be a slapdick. So it is what it is. It's all good. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Apparently, Dennis Dodd, who Shane Beamer bodied just a few weeks ago, released his way too early top 25 on CBS Sports. He lists the Gamecocks 22nd. How about that? How about that? Dennis Dodd listing the Gamecocks 22nd in his way too early top 25. Noah Johns, what's going on, my friend? Appreciate you tuning in. Courtney Washington says, Tennessee going to try to disrupt the offense by forcing their point guard into making bad decisions. Yeah, I wonder how much Jermaine Kusnar plays in the game. Luke RJ, I'm glad you like the break music, my friend. Derek McLean says, I blame Sean Elliott for sabotaging us from getting Kirby. I don't think that's why we didn't get Kirby. So, let's see. Brian Dean, yeah, hopefully our guy Stevie goes off tonight. Shooters do indeed shoot. You say he's due for a big game. I mean, he did have 25 against Auburn, so it's not like it's been forever since he had a really, really good game. So, but either way, I hear you. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I love to see it. Maddox Free, what's going on? Cyber Slavish says, if people haven't hopped on the Shane train yet, then they need to. Brian Rhodes, I don't want to be ranked. I'd rather play with a chip and no respect. Brian, I see that a lot from people, that comment. I get it. Like some fans want to be and that's cool, man, to be the underdog. I want to be ranked, bro. I want to be nationally relevant. I want to be ranked. Listen, it's a privilege to have pressure. That's a privilege. Pressure makes diamonds, Brian. Pressure makes diamonds. I would be so hype to once again see a ranking next to our name when we play. So hype. So, it's cool to play the underdog role and be the underdog. You know what's cooler? Being ranked. Being ranked and having, hey, guess what? It's a blessing to have expectations. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to have expectations. So that's what makes Carolina baseball so great. The expectations. They're not a negative, they're a positive. You ask any coach, you ask any player, it's a privilege to have pressure. It's a privilege. So having expectations to live up to, that's great. That means a lot is expected of you. So I understand. Fans saw the way too early preseason top 25 from ESPN. They had us ranked 25th. Hell yeah, bump it up. Let's go. Hype it up. Hype it up, man. Hype it up. Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. Because you know what happens when you elevate expectations and you have a lot of pressure? Well, guys, I mean, you get to a point where your bad season is still a great year. I mean, I hate to say it, but look at Clemson. They had an off year and won 10 games. How many times in our program's history have we won 10 games? So I'd love to get to that point where a 10 wins, we had a bad year. For Georgia, yeah, winning less than 10 games. Alabama winning less than 10 games would be a crime, dude. It'd be a crime. I'd love to get to that point. AJ Bowers, I don't want to be ranked, then play like shit and get unranked if we lose. AJ, we are capable of playing like shit whether we're ranked or unranked, my friend. That ranking don't mean a damn thing. For somebody, by the way, AJ, that's as, I'm going to call it like I see it, as sunshine pumper as you are, I'm surprised you would say that because my guy AJ was picking us to win every week. My guy AJ was in the comments on Instagram picking us to win every week. I'm surprised you would say that, to be honest with you. Let's see. Yeah, Keyshawn Bryant needs to have a big game. That's for sure. P-Dog says, I'd rather be ranking. That shit would be so hype seeing that 25 beside our name. Phil says, we've been underdogs for the vast majority of this program's history. Indeed. P-Dog says, what would you say to the people saying we're going 10-2 next year? Yeah, I would say pump the brakes a bit. I would say pump the brakes. I think that's way too aggressive. Way too aggressive. I mean, you listen to Brad Lawing, man. Even he made the point UNC sucked. Their defense was terrible. So, hey, I'm not saying we won't be better. We should be. We added Spencer Rattler. We've added a lot of pieces, but 10-2 is aggressive. That's a little bit over the top. A little bit over the top. Dre Bencasso says, we could possibly be ranked again with Beamer. I can feel it. Yeah, I think absolutely. I think we absolutely could. I'll tell you this, and P-Dog says 8-4 is the ceiling. I'll tell you this. My way too early predictions were 8-4. Now, I also didn't realize that Will Levis and Chris Rodriguez from Kentucky are coming back. So that game is probably more likely a loss than a win, and I hate to say that. But even let's just say at 8-4. I say this like I said going into last season when I predicted the Gamecocks to go 6-6. And I said before last season, South Carolina is much closer in my opinion, and if I had to pick, they're much closer to 5-7 than 7-5. If you had to lean one way or the other. And I would say the same thing off that 8-4 prediction. Again, that's the way too early prediction. I will lock in my official prediction, 5 months from now, 6 months from now. We got a while. South Carolina at that 8-4 way too early prediction, they're closer. They're much closer to 7-5 than 9-3. I think so. I think so. Because again, yes, we're getting better. We're getting better, right? We are. Obviously, we are. So is Kentucky. So is Tennessee. Everybody's getting better. Everybody's getting better. So, I think to all of a sudden just say, oh, well, we added Spencer Rattler, so we're going to win 10 games. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. So AJ Bauer says, if we are, then we are. If we are, then we are. I will still be the same guy having faith in my team every week. AJ, I have faith too, but I'm not going to pick us to win every game. So nobody would take me seriously if I picked us to win every game. Nobody would. Nobody would. Nobody would. Cyrus Lowry, Kentucky running backs have been giving us problems for the past 7 or 8 years. It started with Benny Snell. Brian Rhodes, 8-4 or 9-3 would be great. Need to win 2 games. We're not expected at all to win. Phil says, realistic prediction, 7-5. I think so as well. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Justin and Kyle.
Justin, Kyle, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good, man. How about you?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
So, I know we're talking about the Vandy game, and, it was a close game, and, we don't really know the measuring stick on Vandy and, what the verdict is on them. But, I go back and I watch, as I watch that game, if you go back and look at how the refs called this game, especially in the last, almost the whole second half, we were almost in double – Vandy was almost double bonus at the 15-minute mark. That's pretty absurd.
Mm-hmm.
If you take away their field goal percentages, we shot almost 50% in this game. We played probably, in my opinion, the best game of the year overall. Even defensively, we were good. It's just, if they don't get all these foul calls they're getting, that really, handshake fouls or ticky-tack fouls, we'd probably win that game, I would say probably 10 to 15-point mark.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were up by 10 twice in the second half, and it seemed like every time they did, they would drive the ball, throw up a prayer, of a foul, or, they'd get themselves – I don't know. It just seemed like the refs kept them in the game. As much as we tried to put that game away, it was like, well, I don't know. We historically played bad in Nashville. We were horrible at Memorial Coliseum, typically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had lost 7 of our last 8 there going in that game Saturday. So
we played some pretty bad Vanderbilt teams in that window. I think we even I think we even lost there that year. I think we lost with Dozier and Thornwell that year. Mm-hmm. If I'm thinking right, I think we lost there as well.
Yeah. No, yeah. It had been a house of horrors for sure. So, it's funny though, you bring up like the refs and the fouls and stuff. Well, we're on the road tonight again. So, I mean, I don't know if you'd expect something much different, but I don't honestly, I don't spend a lot of energy on the refs, and dude, they're just bad every game. They're always bad. Umpires are bad. Football refs are bad. Like, complaining about the refs is just such a waste. Like, for me, at least personally, I don't tweet about the refs a lot because it's just such a waste of breath, but they're always bad. They're always going to be bad. It is what it is.
Well, I guess for me, I just don't like when they dictate a game. And that's kind of what happened, and I felt in the second half was, we were kind of kicking on all cylinders. We had good ball movement. We were getting inside. I mean, we dominated them inside the paint. I mean, we were they just couldn't stop it. And it just seemed like, they started dictating the game when it felt like we were about to put that game out of reach. That's the only time I don't like, I really complain about the refs is when they seem to control how the game plays out in the end. But on the other hand, I think that's also how I've figured out how sometimes we struggle in men's basketball. I'm not blaming everything on the refs, but because, Frank Martin he likes to play physical defense, in the guy's face. Yeah, if we have refs that are kind of, call fouls when need to be called, but not call fouls just because whatever, just ticky-tack fouls, it seems like we're better because our defense can play to the aggressiveness that Frank Martin teaches them to play. And when the refs kind of, are like, oh, well, we're not really feeling that aggressive defense, it seems like we tend to, I don't know, play different. I don't know. That seems weird, but.
No, it makes sense. It does make sense for sure. I mean, the way that, it's like any other sport. The way that the referees or the umpires are calling the game kind of dictates the way you can operate. So, I mean, if you got an umpire in baseball that's giving you one side of the plate, not the other, he's calling it low, calling it high, whatever, you got to make an adjustment. If you got a referee in football that's, they're calling a lot more, I don't know, holding plays than normal, or they're calling ticky-tack stuff on the outside. Maybe it dictates the way you can play defense or play offensively as a wide receiver. And, yeah, man, same thing with basketball. So you got to kind of just feel it out early. And, yeah, I mean, I don't like it either when the refs make themselves a major part of the game. And you can tell, too, when, like, they call those offensive fouls and, like, they emphatically throw the arm. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you obviously just wanted to be a part of the moment there. But I don't know. It's just an element of the game you gotta fight and battle, and so I mean that's going to be one of the challenges tonight too, man. I mean, anytime you go on the road, you just kind of expect that everything's going to be against you. So, yeah.
I guess for me, it makes it better for I just remember I think Scottie Pippen Jr. is a sophomore this year. I think he was a freshman last year, if I'm thinking right. Or he might be a junior. I'm not sure.
I think he's a junior. Yeah.
All right. So when he was a freshman, I remember they played at South Carolina, and we ended up beating them in that game, but. His attitude, his demeanor, like I'd personally just dislike the guy, like just the way he carried himself on the court. So when we beat them, that's kind of, to me, it feels good. I can't personally stand the guy. I mean, not personally, but, as an athlete, he's like the poster child of Vanderbilt. I mean, he is the best player on their team. I get it. But, he carries his dad's name, which, we all know who Scottie Pippen is. But I don't know, it just felt good to beat him, and then it seems like he gets the favorable calls. I mean, there was a couple there was question calls across the whole game. It doesn't matter, but we won. Doesn't matter. But it just seems like you watch any of their games, their mentality is, well, if we can't make buckets, we'll go in and let him just bump into somebody, and the rest will give us a foul call.
Yeah, I mean, the best players, and again, in any sport, the best players get the benefit of the doubt. That's a fact. So.
So my next question would be, I haven't heard anything, and if there's been news on it, I just hadn't seen it, but I know there was a big wide receiver out of Oklahoma. I know, they were trying to sway this guy, and I think Rattler even tweeted him, vice versa. I mean, have we heard anything on this guy?
Yeah, Mario Williams. I think he will probably head to Southern Cal with Caleb Williams. I think he wants to play with Caleb Williams, and it sounds like Caleb Williams is going to head to Southern Cal to play with Lincoln Riley. So unfortunately, gotcha. I don't think we're going to be getting him.
Gotcha. Is there anybody else that I mean, I like I said, I don't really.
I mean,
follow as much
dude,
as I can.
there's
Is there any
tons
other-
of there's tons of guys in the portal, man. As far as receivers, I mean, I don't have any that I could pinpoint like, oh, we're targeting this guy harder than another. But you know, we've got 3 or 4 spots left, so I would imagine they'd add another. But I mean, again, that's Shane Beamer is the one behind the scenes with the master plan of who they want to add and stuff like that. But you know, I'm there's nobody specifically that sticks out in my mind that like we're targeting more than somebody else. So, but we got a couple more spots, so I would expect them to, you know, add a couple more pieces that we obviously need. So.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate your content, man. You have a good day.
Yeah, appreciate it, Justin. Thanks so much for the call, man. Great stuff. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Colonel Titan says Pippen Jr. wasn't impressed in that game. Well, I mean, we held him in check, but he still had like 17 points. So he's a pretty solid player. He's a pretty solid player. Connor Lee says over under 25 points for your boy Eric Stevenson tonight. I'm going to go under. 25's a lot. 25's a lot. Let's see. Tommy Wallace need to cut down on the too many unforced turnovers to have a chance against Tennessee. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, we have to. You can't go on the road and turn the ball over and have any shot to pull an upset. So, Justin Kyle, yeah, 17 points, 11 points from the line. So, yeah, we held him in check, which was one of my keys. Again, he got his to a degree, but you did hold him in check for sure. Courtney Washington says, I could see us going 6-6 again. Talking football. You know, every season rests on its own merit. And so you get into a dangerous trap. And I talked about this with Brad Loyne, but you get into a dangerous trap when you start saying, well, you won this many this year, so you got to win this many next year. It's like there are too many variables to think that way, right? Things change. Things change a lot. Teams change, coaches change, rosters change, all that good stuff. Schedules change. But I will say, I mean, I don't blame a Gamecock fan at all that, hey, you went 6-6. You went 6-6 with Zeb Noland and Jason Brown and a hurt Luke Doty and all the turmoil and adversity you ran into. So I don't blame fans, and it would only make sense if you go 6-6, adding a Spencer Rattler, that's going to be hard to stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like fans want to be able to cling to, there's the progress. There it is, right? So increasing that win total, even if it's just by one game. Because, guys, I'll tell you this. I think the schedule's tougher. I think the schedule is tougher. Even though the non-conference gets easier, you don't have a tricky game at ECU. You don't have a tricky game against a Troy. I think the schedule's tougher, though. You trade out Auburn for Arkansas, and you got to go to Fayetteville. Going to be a really tough game. You still play Georgia, Clemson, A&M, as we all know. So, but certainly you'd like to see that win total increase. Let's see. P-Dawg, 9-3 is the ceiling. I mean, 8-4 is hopeful. 7-5 realistic. 6-6 has got to be the floor. I agree. I mean, making a bowl game is the minimum, no doubt. Making a bowl game is the minimum, no doubt. Justin Kyle, the biggest question mark this year is the O-line play. Our defense played pretty well. What we lost and everything, but both have to be much better to get to 8 wins. I think 7-5 is truly realistic and possible. 9-3 if we gel and play lights out in toss-up games. Yeah. Chris Matthews says, got to start somewhere. I agree. We get back to being competitive in the East when we start owning Kentucky and Mizzou. Yeah, when we're talking competitive in the East, you mean by that competing with Georgia. Realistically, competing with Georgia. Yeah, I agree. You got to start beating the Kentuckys and the Mizzous of the world. You do. Let's see. Jonathan Lee says, seeing at least 8 wins. Jay Frew says, Georgia State concerns me. Jay Frew, spoken like a true Gamecock, man. Spoken like every game concerns Gamecock fans who have been around the block and have seen South Carolina football for quite a long time, there ain't no Gamecock fan that looks past any game, right? I mean, heck, I remember coming into last year, man, there were fans that were actually genuinely like sort of worried about EIU. I mean, dude, there were people picking us to beat EIU like 31-20. They were like, have you ever seen us in openers? I'm like, no, you don't understand. EIU shouldn't even have a team. Like, this is like varsity against the B team. Like, it won't even be close. And sure enough, what did we do? We won 46-0. Let's see. P-Dog, those back-to-back Charlotte, South Carolina State weeks are going to be an ass-dragging couple of weeks. Yeah, those are going to be fun, right? Back-to-back weeks at Willie B. Charlotte and South Carolina State. What an interesting back-to-back that is. Let's see. Bruce says, how do you think fans will react if we start 1-2? Well, I mean, Bruce, knowing Gamecock fans, especially those on social media, I don't think they'll react positively. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't think they'll react rationally either. I don't think they will, unfortunately. So, but I think as last year showed us, maybe it's a good idea to let it play out, right? Maybe it's a good idea to let it play out because you never know what might happen. So, no, I don't think a lot of fans will react rationally. So, and it is realistic. 1-2 is realistic because, again, I've chalked up Georgia as an L, and I've chalked up Georgia State as a dub. Arkansas is going to be a tough game. Arkansas is going to – they're another program that's on the up and up. They're another program on the up and up. So, Aaron Thompson says, having Rattler alone doesn't warrant more victories. It takes the offensive line and receivers. Don't disagree with you. I don't disagree. You're adding good players, and you need to, get better on the line, but I will say having Rattler is a pretty big piece of the puzzle. I'd rather have an average offensive line and a star QB than the reverse. Just me. That's just me. So, let's see. Coach Ford says, we will start out 1-2. Way too early picks from Coach Ford. Coach Ford says, Georgia State can give us a run. They have talent and have given other SEC teams a tussle. Again, way too early picks. I think South Carolina will handle Georgia State, whatever. We got a long way to go. A lot of breakdowns to do before I start making predictions on scores for that game. Justin Kyle says, dude, we did exactly what I wanted to see this year, being competitive and guys that wanted to give it their all on the field. And we faced so much adversity and overcame a lot of it. And that speaks volumes about Beamer. Indeed. A-Raj, TSUS stays on in the classroom. Let's go. Love to hear that. Lindsey Hagler says, can we get to the spring game first? I mean, Lindsey, hey, you got to start on it. Only 236 days away. You got to start it. We got to do it now. We got to do it now. No, I hear you. Hey, trust me, Lindsey, I know there's some people that say, well, I'm already ready for kickoff. Let's get to kickoff. And I'm excited for the 2022 season, but I'm not rushing it. I'm enjoying basketball. I can't wait for baseball, and I'm looking forward to a fun-ass baseball season. Can't wait. So I'm not rushing it. Spring ball is going to be fun. The spring game is going to be incredible. Spring game is going to be awesome. So spring game is going to be awesome. Let's see. Jay Frew said, did you see Joel Klatt's too early top 10 last night? He had Arkansas at 7. Arkansas in the top 10. And Wake at 10. Yeah. Arkansas, I mean, listen, do they lose guys? Sure. Have guys hit the portal? But I think Sam Pittman's doing a pretty damn good job. So I think Sam Pittman's doing a pretty damn good job. So I think it's going to be, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but a lot of potential in that ball game. Guys, again, we're taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3337. So my guy, Brendan. Appreciate you tuning in, Brendan. Again, guys, if you're in the Big Cock Club Discord, head over to the TDC Questions channel to be sure your questions are answered there. And again, we're continuing to take your questions, your comments, your calls. We're going to jump into a quick break here. On this Tuesday, this game day, as the Gamecocks travel to Knoxville tonight to take on Tennessee. We can talk that. We can talk football. We can talk whatever you guys want on the other side of the break, and that's 843-790-3377. You can call that number, text that number, whatever you like. Again, guys, more your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. A little bit of a change of pace really quickly before we jump back into it. Jay Frew says they're going to be a Spurs Up Show tailgate with the spring game. That is the plan, Jay Frew. I think that'd be awesome. Again, a little bit of change of pace, something I kind of want to bring to the forefront and announce to you guys. Very excited. As you all know, beginning of this year, just about a week and a half or so ago, I talked about the plans for TSUS in 2022 in regards to, always looking to grow, evolve, expansion. Expansion's a very real thing, and I will make the announcement later today on social media, but very excited to announce. I've done this a little bit before, and, we've added contributors before, and it sort of, I don't know, it kind of ran its course. And because here's the thing, here's the thing. I'll call it like it is. I don't need to add anybody, right? I could do this all on my own. I do it all on my own right now. I make all the content. I do everything. But I still know there's a lot of value in having written content. There's a lot of value in bringing on outside opinions and outside contributors, right? And there's a lot of value, and I like the opportunity to give back, especially like kids who are at South Carolina and want to get some experience and put it on their resume and build their portfolio, if you will. So with that being said, I know there's a ton of value in that, and I do want to expand. Expansion is something I do want to make happen. I'm just one person, so I want to expand the value that we're bringing on a daily basis. So with that being said, first thing is, later today, I've actually put together the Google Doc already. We will be taking applications for contributors. Ideally, I would like to add a recruiting guy and then probably one person for each sport: baseball, men's and women's basketball individually, and then football, of course. So we are going to be adding contributors. The other big news, and many of you may remember this from last year, but again, I have dreams and visions of expanding TSUS, not just with like contributors that are, writing articles and doing that type of content, but a network of podcasts, if you will. I think there's a ton of value in that. I've got the sports side of things really cornered. I've got the sports side of things down pat. 2 podcasts that I actually do want to add. And one of them, it was named Cox and Cola. That name is subject to change. But basically the thought behind that is 2 dudes who are students at USC talking more so on the side of campus culture, campus life, happenings at South Carolina. They can talk sports as well, but being a little bit more raw, cutting edge, you know what I'm saying? A little bit more, I don't know how to even put it, but a little bit more raw, if you will. More a podcast geared to students, because that's the big part, or a really, really big part of the fan base that we're trying to target is the student body, right? That part of the fan base grows every single year when you think about it. And then the other podcast, really excited. It's going to be similar to that one, but 2 girls. So we'll be taking applications for that as well. Podcast applications, if you will, people that want to, again, I could give you guys the entire spiel on the plans in regards to TSUS expansion and just expanding the business as a whole. But those are 2 initiatives I'm looking to do: adding content creators to the TSUS specifically side of things, and then adding 2 new podcasts in the TSUS podcast network, if you will. Again, really, again, they're going to be podcasts that are geared to students. So really excited for that. Again, something I just want to share with you guys. But I'll be posting those links a little bit later today. I'll post those links later today. And like I said, man, we're always looking to expand, always looking to grow, always looking to evolve. And I will tell you this: I feel like in the past, I maybe haven't been as picky as I should have been in regards to just adding content, stuff like that. I'm going to be very picky. Like I said, I'm going to add, when it comes to content creators for TSUS, 1 person per each. So we're not going to have, I feel like the problem you run into, especially a lot of times, is and just call a spade a spade. There's a lot of kids who just want to come on and just put, I'm a contributor for TSUS. They want to put that in their bio, right? Like they think, oh, the clout's so dope. Like, bro, nobody cares. If you're not contributing, I don't need you. I don't need that. So I'm looking to build a team, man. We're looking to build a team of talented contributors. And Austin Greer, I see your comments. Yes. So Austin, like I said, just look out for the link that I post here shortly. But yeah, I will not even consider someone if they can't send in a writing sample. I won't even consider them. I'm not here to babysit. I'm not here to teach people how to create content. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the energy to do it. You know, it's if you don't have, if you need to learn how to create content, if you need to learn how to write, go to Google, bro. Go to Google. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying you got to be perfect. I'm not saying you got to be, you know, but if you can't put together a blog, if you can't write a blog, go work on that on your own time. You said I'm not trying to be a dick, but you know what? Again, time is money and resources are limited, so we gotta allocate them correctly. So yeah, Austin. Long story short, I will post that link. I'm going to post it this afternoon, probably around 4 or so. I want to craft the post correctly. You know what I'm saying? So again, though, we are going to be accepting new applications for contributors. Again, recruiting, football, baseball, men's basketball, women's basketball. Austin Gersh says, does the sample have to be sports? Can I use one of the research papers? I mean, ideally, Austin, it would be sports. Ideally, because again, you're going to be writing about sports. So, and the biggest thing is this too. And again, I know we're getting off on a complete tangent, by the way. The biggest thing is this, that I try. Again, we're getting so like kind of out of left field talking about, you know, content creation and all that. But one of the greatest challenges is this too, because here's the thing. When it comes to TSUS and the content we make, and we're not Barstool, but we are much closer to that style of things than we are to your basic traditional newspaper or even like Gamecock Central or the Big Spur. And that's a good thing. That's how I want to be, because the worst thing you can be is boring, right? And I'm sorry, but writing up a box score recap of a game has no value. There's no place in TSUS for that. None. It just has no value. If people can, and I've told content creators this forever who sign up with us, if they can go, if they're going to pick between us, TSUS, and ESPN to go read a box score, they're going to go to ESPN. They are. So you got to be cutting edge. You got to be creative. That's why I always, attack my content with passion, right? We get after it. You got to stand out. You can't be boring. You can't, be doing a podcast and you're just lulling people to sleep. You got to be energetic. You got to get after it. Nobody wants to hear somebody just put them to sleep and just read off statistics from a game. We can all look at stats, right? Having bold takes, bold opinions, backing up those bold takes and opinions with research and, just having those bold takes and opinions. Obviously, within reason, you don't want to be like, over the top, just ridiculous, but, being able to support said opinions. So, anyways, I'm getting off, like I said, onto a tangent. These are conversations I'll have with people who, who apply and stuff like that. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to share that with you because, again, guys, our successes are our successes, right? We all celebrate together, and I think expansion's a great thing. And one of my goals for this year, I'll tell you guys just straight up, was to add, a paid employee. Now, I can tell you this. I know I said it before on the podcast that we are going to pay contributors. It's going to be based off a per views system, and it's not going to be something where people are going to get rich, man. It's not. So if you're trying to get rich in, that's why I always just I laugh my ass off when people say, he's not even a Gamecock fan. He's just doing the TSUS. He's doing the podcast for money. Like, bro, you are insane. Now, we've gotten to the point now where we're selling merch and a lot of positive momentum with the business. And, as the business has grown and gotten better, I won't lie, the financial side's gotten better. But to act like somebody starts doing that because they say, I want to get rich, bro, you're crazy. You're crazy. So anyways, like I said, I know I just went off on a rant, tangent, whatever. Bottom line, we are expanding. We are adding contributors. We are adding these 2 new podcasts within our podcast network. And again, I will post all those links later today. I know we're probably going to get flooded with applications, but I'm really excited, man, because again, I do my thing with the podcast. I do my thing with the clips and the Daily Crow and everything else, but I definitely think there's room still to add more value. I think there's always room to add more value, and I'm excited to do that, guys. So again, I appreciate your love and support. Without it, wouldn't even get to a point where we're even considering it. So let's see. The tailgate food contributor does sound like an awesome gig. I feel like the guys over at our tailgate and Seawells are already kind of the tailgate food contributors, if you will, because they cook every game. I don't know. Daddy O says there's got to be a ton more money talking Georgia and Florida sports. I mean, again, guys, I'm a Gamecock through and through, so it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. You can choose it, but it's like it's. I don't choose to wake up and be passionate about the Gamecocks every day. It chooses you, right? Like it's just something in your blood. But yeah, if you were sitting there saying, okay, we're trying to maximize profit, which team should we talk about? South Carolina wouldn't be the first choice. It'd be like Alabama, Ohio State, I mean, everybody wants to consume content when you're going to the national championship. I mean, it's, so anyways, but I love what I do. I love talking Gamecocks. I love being a part of this fan base. And I mean, again, I have been since I was 11 years old. Again, it's something that chooses you. You don't choose it. And for better or for worse, you're stuck with it. No, it's, I agree, Daddy. You got to surround yourself and set up your life with things that fuel you and inspire you and get you out of the bed in the morning and drive you. And that's certainly, doing what I do and creating content around a team that I'm so passionate about is certainly it. So anyways, back to football stuff. John Arthur says Kentucky's beaten South Carolina 7 of the last 8 and had 2 10-win seasons the last 4 years. How are they even being compared to a team like Mizzou, who hasn't won a bowl game in 7 years? Well, John, I just still think when you look at SEC East hierarchy and you think of teams like that, again, I'm not saying that Missouri is as good as Kentucky is. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying to you is, does anybody consider Kentucky, even after the success they've had, an upper echelon SEC program? I mean, they're having a good run under Stoops, but I wouldn't consider them that way. No, I don't know many. Dude, I don't know many Gamecock fans. I mean, here's the thing, man. Kentucky's had all this success they're having, and Gamecock fans still feel like, oh, it's Kentucky. We should beat them every year. It's Kentucky. I mean, Gamecock fans thought I was crazy. Crazy for picking us to lose to them last year. So I have given Kentucky a lot of credit. A lot. And they deserve it. I'm not saying they don't deserve it, but I mean, I think Kentucky syndrome, and until they win the SEC, it's always going to be there, man. Everybody's going to look at Kentucky as like, oh, it's Kentucky. Luke RJ says, if our offense can play better, we can win 8 games next year. The defense will always be good with Clayton White, and we'll be dominant once we get better players. 2021 rankings, total D was 41st. Scoring defense was 46th. No, I mean, listen, yeah, Luke RJ, it would make sense. Yeah, you improve offensively, you will improve as a football team. I think that's very fair. I think that's, yeah. So don't totally disagree there. Yeah, you improve. I mean, that's going to be the number one objective and the number one goal of this upcoming season, right? Because I said this last week, and I'll say it again. How you win games, that's a very big deal, right? How you win games is a big deal. We went 6-6 in the regular season, but there were folks who I still think look back on that season and just say,
Call
we
from
won ugly.
Robbie Davis, a.k.a.
To accept, press 1.
He didn't get
To
it
send a
anyway. Let's jump to the
voicemail,
phone
press
line.
2.
Robbie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing good. I had a nightmare last night, bro.
Really? What was the nightmare?
That Georgia won the national championship. Then I woke up this morning and it was real.
That wasn't a nightmare, man. That really happened. Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, it wasn't a nightmare, it was real. But I don't think you were crazy, by the way, just so you know. I don't think you were crazy on picking Kentucky to beat us this past season, okay? Because, like I have said before, the better team, regardless of who it is, if it's Kentucky, Missouri, or even Vanderbilt, for God's sake, okay? You're going to have times where teams that you should beat on a regular basis, you're going to have times where you lose to them on a regular basis. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I mean, I would just say this too about, you know, we find ourselves talking about that game last year. I mean, I'll repeat what I said going in that game, that it would have been a bigger indictment, or it would have been a worse look for Kentucky to lose to us with a ninth-year head coach against a first-year head coach. It would have been a great look for us to beat them. So, I mean, it's, you know,
Exactly.
you do have to put some respect on Kentucky's name, what they've built. They just, you know, they've given Stoops time, and they've allowed him
credit to Stoops, man. Yeah. There's a reason the Stoops family is good at coaching. There's a reason.
Yeah, Stoops is a legend. He's
they
done a
know
hell of a
what
job
they're
there.
doing. They know what they're doing over there in Kentucky, okay? They know what they're doing. And I truly believe, and I'll keep saying this till I'm blue in the face, and I know people hate it. People calling me a homer and all that stuff. I don't care. You can talk crap about me all you want to. I don't care. But do I want us to win every single game we play in any sport? Yes, I do. But I just, going into the Vandy game, I didn't think we were going to, after what I've seen the last few weeks, I wasn't expecting us to beat Vanderbilt. Did I pick us to win? Yes, I did. But was I expecting us to beat Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt? No. But we won anyway. It wasn't pretty, but we got the W anyway. And do I think we can beat Tennessee tonight? Yes, I do. I think personally, I think we're better than Tennessee. I think that our basketball team is better than Tennessee's, and I think that we'll wind up winning the game 75-70.
75-70, you're locked in.
And I could see us, for the schedule this year for the football team, I got us winning our season opener, losing to Georgia, beating South Carolina State, even though technically South Carolina State is my hometown team because I live in Orangeburg.
Hold on, what did you say for the Arkansas game week 2? What did you say for that game?
On the Arkansas game, I think we can beat Arkansas. I really do. I think we can beat Arkansas. So I got us beating Georgia State, beating Arkansas, beating South Carolina State, and then I can't remember the rest of the schedule from there.
Well, we'll beat Charlotte, I think. I'd hope we beat Charlotte.
Charlotte's a W. Charlotte's a W.
How about Kentucky on the road? Yeah, this is a great exercise. We'll get Robbie's official just down the list here. Here you go. Georgia. So Gamecocks are
Sean Elliott, Georgia State.
That's not a bold take. We're going to beat them. So we're 2-1 after 3 weeks. Charlotte, South Carolina State, back-to-back at Willie B. So you got the Gamecocks 4-1 after 5 weeks, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
4-1 after 5 weeks.
Okay.
We're going to beat the bricks off of State and out of Georgia State. Okay?
Yeah. Okay, so 4-1 after 5.
We're going to beat them like a redheaded stepchild. I didn't say it, but it's going to be bad.
No, I agree. All right, let's go down the list then. 4-1 at Kentucky.
At Kentucky, I think honestly, with what Stoops has built there, I got us losing to Kentucky.
All right, so 4-2 going in the bye week. Coming off the bye week, Texas A&M at home.
That's a loss. That's definitely a loss.
Okay, Mizzou at home.
Until I see something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Missouri's a home game.
Yes, Mizzou is the following week at home.
I think we can beat Missouri.
Okay, so sitting at
Should
5.
Have beat Missouri last year.
Yeah, sitting at 5-3.
Or did we beat Missouri last year?
No, we lost.
5-3.
5-3. At Vanderbilt the following week.
That's a W.
Okay.
That's an absolute W.
All right, here's where it gets interesting. 6-3 with 3 to play at Florida.
I think that's a win. I really do. I think that's a win.
Okay. Come back home the following week, Tennessee at home.
I really do think we're gonna come out ready to play, and we're gonna this is gonna be a revenge game against Tennessee, and we're gonna beat Tennessee.
Okay, and then the final game of the year at Clemson.
Let's see. In order, I would love to see us beat Clemson. I would love it. I would freaking beat Petey as all get. Okay. But until I see us starting to beat Missouri, Kentucky, and teams that we should beat on a regular basis in the SEC, I got us losing now.
Okay, so 8-4 final record. So you're exactly where I'm at. Maybe a little bit different in the games, but you're exactly where I'm at in regards to way too early predictions. So, but you know what I love about you, Robbie, is you pick South Carolina to go 8-4, but you will be picking the Gamecocks to win every game the week of. That's what I love about you. But that's a very listen. 8-4 is very fair, and I think
there ain't nothing wrong with wanting your team to win, like I said.
No,
in all honesty, I got to go at 8-4. I'll take it.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a Gamecock fan who would not sign up for.
You show me a Gamecock fan that truly wants us to do horrible in every game and wants us to lose every game.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a Gamecock fan who would not sign up for an 8-4 record right now. I think all of us would take.
Oh, I would sign up for an 8-4 record right stinking now if I had the choice.
Yeah, I think all of us would take that. So, okay, Robbie Davis is locked in. Then 2022, way too early predictions for Robbie Davis. 8-4. Love to hear that.
8-4. Yeah. And I gotta go. I don't know what bowl game we're going to. But anyways,
at that point, you're probably. I don't know, man. I don't know exactly. I was gonna say Outback, but I don't really know. You're going to a good bowl game at 8-4, though. You are going to a good bowl game.
Oh yeah, if you're 8-4, you're going to a good bowl game, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you before earlier this week, I know I got haters, but that's okay. You know what I've been doing though the last week?
What's that?
You know what I do now since I found out I got haters?
Mm-hmm.
I pray for them every day.
You do? Hold on, you do what?
I pray for them every day.
Good. That's what we all should be doing, honestly.
So just so you know, if you're a hater on me and you don't like me, I've been praying for you every day.
Love that.
So,
love to hear that.
But and I truly believe that, like I've also said before, if we can somehow keep the coaching staff that we have and not lose anybody on said coaching staff, even though, yes, I know we lost somebody on the coaching staff, but I'm talking about like losing the defensive coordinator or losing like a major staff member. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as we can keep like those kinds of people, the people that are like, I'm okay with losing a position coach. That's fine.
Right.
But losing a coordinator is a whole nother ball game. If we can keep the coordinators, somehow find a way to keep the coordinators, but also add to the coaching staff in some way, shape, or form, I could see us eventually, probably in the future, probably not the very near future, I could see us going like until Clemson shows that they're like on the way down, which I think they are slowly but surely on their way down because they lost Brett Venables and their coordinators and whatnot because Venables went to Oklahoma. But I think that we'll start seeing a more competitive South Carolina Clemson game in the next couple of years and not see a shellacking
I mean, you got to get to that level first, man. And there's a lot of Gamecock fans out there that really want me to pick us to beat Clemson, and people say, oh, that's not a loss. That's a toss-up game. And, man, I got to see Carolina play a competitive game against Clemson first before I start giving that benefit of the doubt. So
right.
it'll happen.
Like,
it'll take time, but it'll happen.
I'll never forget the 2006 game whenever I guaranteed a win over Clemson. Yeah, I guaranteed it. I looked a Clemson friend of mine in the face and I said, we will beat y'all this year. And lo and behold,
sure enough,
by their kicker missed that field goal, and the wager was the loser had to wear the winner's shirt the next day at church. So the person that lost the bet got up in front of the whole church and showed off his Carolina shirt. I said, uh-huh. I said, yep.
Don't make bets. Don't make bets with Robbie Davis. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, because I'm serious. Like, I was like, hey, hey. I looked him in the face and I said, a squirrel finds a nut once in a while, and our squirrel's gonna find its nut come Saturday. That's what I told him. And I guess I know that, like, what was it, 2007, the following year, they kicked the absolute dog crap out of us, like 63-7 or something like that.
Mm, yeah.
And I truly think that I really felt like, even though we got our butts handed to us the following year, I was like, a day's going to come where we're going to beat them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, we beat them 5 years in a row. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, but in a majority of those 5 W's, they didn't crack over 21 points.
Yes, yeah. Struggled offensively.
Yes, they did.
Mm.
And like you said, you just want to see it get competitive again. Like, to the point to where, like, the experts don't know who's going to win the ballgame. Like, it's literally a 50-50 shot. Like, if something goes a certain way, Clemson will win. If something goes another way, Carolina will win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I agree.
Like,
yeah. Coin flip kind of game.
Like,
truly a toss-up.
And I truly think that with the way our defense had its moments where it looked awful. Like, for instance, the A&M debacle and the Tennessee debacle. Okay? I truly believe that if our defense gets to the point to where they played the way they played against North Carolina in the Mayo Bowl, and we do like we did in those 5 wins against Clemson and cause turnovers and capitalize off of them, which, yes, any team can do that, capitalize off of turnovers, of course. But if our team specifically can start doing that, because I don't know if you also noticed this, in the 2020 season, we did get turnovers, but we just did not capitalize off of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that we did this year, unlike the 2020 season, is whenever we got turnovers, we capitalized off of them. We maybe got a field goal or a touchdown or a field goal, which getting points is getting points. I don't care if you get 6 or you get 3. If you get points, that's a success.
Hmm.
And I truly think that with our defensive coordinator We did. It was like I said before. It was a great hire. Loved it. Loved the fact that we got a guy that knows defense, knows the ins and outs of having a great defense. And if we get the right pieces, like I've said before, get the right pieces on both sides of the ball, we're going to become a powerhouse once again. And also, getting to the top of the mountain is hard, like I said also before, for the baseball team. Getting to the top of the mountain is the easy part. Staying at the top is the hardest part. So now that, like, for instance, Georgia winning last night, they're now at the top of the mountain. But now the real question is, can they stay there? That is always the main question whenever a team wins a national title or wins a Super Bowl. They're at the top. Now, can they stay there or not? That's always the main question every year after a sports season when a team reaches the top. Can they stay there?
No doubt. I just like to get there personally, but we'll see. Robbie, great stuff as always. Great insight, my friend. I appreciate you calling in. 8-4, you're locked in, man, and looking forward to the basketball game.
8-4.
By the way, today. I know you got 75-70 South Carolina, so we'll see if it comes
through.
through.
And that game's on the SEC Network tonight, right?
SEC Network, indeed. SEC Network, indeed.
Okay, and it starts at
6:30.
6:30. I couldn't tell.
6:30.
Okay, 6:30. All right. You have a great rest of your day, okay?
Robbie, you as well, my friend. Always appreciate it. 843-790-3377. Robbie, very in-depth with all of his points, which we appreciate. We appreciate it. Guys, we are going to jump into one final break. 843-790-3377. Hey, taking more of your questions, your comments, and calls, and more on the other side of the break. You are tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here on the Daily Crow on this Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. Appreciate you all tuning in, taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. Tony Sharp says, leave that water dripping tonight cold. Yeah, it's going to be cold tonight, man. It's going to be really cold. Just looking at the weather here in Columbia. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks like throughout the day it's going to be pretty nice. High of 72. Hold on. Is it going to be cold tonight? I thought it was going to be cold tonight. Oh, dude, I'm looking at Tampa, Florida. What am I looking at? I was like, is it really going to be 70? Like, there's no, okay, here we go. It's 47. Yeah. Let's see. Tonight, oh, yeah, going to get to 28 degrees, 27. I'm not built for that, folks. Not built for it, folks. Not built for it. Not at all. Let's see. Brian Dean says, we will beat Tennessee tonight. Savannah, no, the game tonight is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee on Rocky Top. Thompson Bowling Arena. So, let's see. Game tonight's at 6:30. South Carolina, Tennessee tonight at 6:30. Luke R. just said our offense was so bad in 2021, 111th in total offense, 104th in scoring. If we can at least be like around 60 in offense, we'll be fine next year. I mean, I'd agree. That's where you need to see the biggest progressions offensively, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, I think success in 2022, I think a lot of it falls on the success of the offense. I mean, truly. I mean, if you go, again, how you win is very important. How you win is very important. So even if you go just 7-5, I say just 7-5. Even if you go 7-5, right? But you're scoring 40 a game or 30, whatever. If you're much better offensively, it changes the outlook of your season, does it not? It changes the outlook of your season. So, making strides on the offensive side, I think that will be priority number one for Shane Beamer and company in regards to, what progress looks like in year 2 of his tenure. Making progress offensively. That's going to be the thing we all need to see the most. So, guys, again, less than 10 minutes to go. Quick reminder, check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 574. A full breakdown of the game tonight, as well as thoughts on Shane Beamer, what he's doing in the transfer portal, in recruiting, all that good stuff. Guys, I am about to drop my graphic immediately following the Daily Crow. My prediction graphic, if you will. I am locked in. I've got Tennessee beating the Gamecocks 76-66. Obviously, the spread, Tennessee's favored by 15.5, believe it or not. I just don't know that South Carolina really has the firepower to keep up with the Vols. So I've got Tennessee getting the dub 76-66. Again, I think Tennessee at home too. They need this game bad. I mean, coming off back-to-back, or excuse me, not back-to-back, coming off a loss to LSU, but 2 conference losses. They're now under 500, 1-2 in conference play. I really think they need it. I think they need it. So I think Tennessee does find a way to get the job done. I think they've got too much for South Carolina. 76-66 is what I'm locked in with. But again, we'll see. Tip-off tonight at 6:30. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, guys, also, like I said, very excited to share with you all expansion hitting TSUS. I will be later today dropping our, I guess you could call it applications, if you will, for adding content creators, expanding our podcast network. Very excited for all that. We do have a text here. It says ESPN's ranked us 25th in their way too early preseason poll. Thoughts on this? Is it realistically possible to believe that we can battle for second in the East in your own way too early predictions? I don't think 8-4 gets you to second. I don't think so. No, the 8-4 is not going to put you at second. because Georgia's probably going to go undefeated again. I haven't looked at Georgia's schedule. Let's see. I wonder if they've already got the helmet schedules out. I'm sure that, let's see. Oh, yeah, here it is. Yep, they already do. So Georgia opens up with Oregon, plays Samford, us. I mean, the only other games they really might, I mean, is there a game? They got Florida, they got Tennessee at home, they go to Mississippi State, which will be, whatever. They have to go to Kentucky, I guess. You know, Georgia's probably going undefeated. Okay, so they're going to win the East. You then look at, you know, a team like Kentucky, who, good chance they're an 8 or 9 win team again. You know, they just won 10 games, including the bowl. You look at a team like, you know, what's Florida going to be, right? What is Florida going to be? They open up the season with Utah. That's going to be a very interesting game. Utah week 1, Kentucky week 2. So we're going to find out a lot about Florida early on. I don't think 8-4, you know, what's Tennessee going to be? You know, what's Tennessee going to be? So I don't think 8-4 locks you in as a second place finish. Now, could you finish third? I think so. I think you could finish third. I think picking South Carolina to finish second's a little aggressive, but I think you could finish third. I think that's realistic. I think it could happen. You know, Spencer Rattler's got to be the dude. Defense has got to continue to improve and take the next step. Offensive line's got to be worlds better. We all know that. Things have got to happen, but it's not unfathomable. So, by the way, in case you missed it, the Miami Heat have re-signed Chris Silva to a 10-day contract using the COVID-related hardship. Congratulations to Chris Silva getting another opportunity. So, Daddy-O, snow in the low country is forecasted for Sunday evening. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Yeah, it's going to be a cold one tonight, folks. A cold one. But again, guys, like I told you earlier, I look at this game tonight, South kind of sitting at 1-1 in SEC play with a loss to a now top 5 Auburn and a win over Vandy, who is solid but not a great team. And then you look at Tennessee coming off a loss over the weekend to LSU and sitting at 1-2. So they desperately need this win tonight to get back to 500 SEC play. But again, the question for me, and I think the thing that really stands out again, you lost by double digits to a top 5 Auburn. You beat a solid but not great Vandy team. What is this team? Just how good are you? What's the ceiling for this group? And I know it's an early season matchup, and it's still really early in conference play. But I do think this game tonight is going to start to answer that question. Again, you go on the road to Rocky Top, Thompson Bowling Arena, a tough place to play. And here's the thing. Saturday was your first true road win of the season. But even that game in Nashville didn't have fans. So this will be, I would say, your first true road game with such a hostile crowd. All due respect to Coastal Carolina, but a big-time SEC crowd. So, again, how do the Gamecocks respond? You're 15.5-point underdogs. But I think we'll start to, and again, we'll continue to, I should say, learn a lot about this Gamecocks basketball team tonight. I think what this team has shown you is, again, there's definitely some inconsistencies there. This is definitely a team that sort of, can't beat itself. It has done that in the past with the turnovers and just kind of some of the stupid stuff. But this is also a team that if they get hot, especially from the outside, especially from at 3, I feel like on any night they can beat anybody. So, again, I think the goal and the objective of this season to give yourself a chance, just give yourself a chance at postseason play, hover at that 500 or slightly above mark. And right now you're sitting at 1-1. So, again, a win tonight would obviously be huge. But just what is South Carolina? What is this South Carolina basketball team? Again, I think we're going to continue to find that out tonight in a really pivotal early season conference matchup in Knoxville. So, should be a fun game. Should be a great game. Aaron Thompson, Auburn has been early projected as a number 1 regional seed for the tournament. Yeah, no, they're really good. Auburn's really good. Auburn's really, really good. So, I try to, people were calling for Frank Martin's head after that game. I'm like, guys, Auburn's pretty freaking good. Auburn's pretty good. So, let's pump the brakes on the fire Frank Martin talk. Again, we're 15.5-point underdogs tonight. If we lose the game by 10, people are going to say, oh, it's just typical Frank Martin. It's like, we actually covered the spread. So, anyways, I don't know. I picked a 10-point loss. It would be an incredible win to see South kind of go there and get the dub. But I just think Tennessee, man, they've got to have it on their home floor. They're sitting at 1-2. They've got to have the victory. They got to have the victory. I think it will be a closer than the experts think, closer than Vegas thinks maybe type of game. But I do think Tennessee will find a way to get the job done. So, again, I'm locked in 76-66. I'm about to drop that prediction graphic right after we get off the Daily Crow here, which will be a couple minutes. Guys, again, we hit 2 o'clock. Appreciate you all tuning in. Check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 574. Also, like I said, guys, join the Big Cock Club today. We've got some very, very big interviews, great conversation, great content upcoming over the next week or so. Stay tuned to all the content today throughout the week. Podcast, Daily Crow, rocking and rolling. You guys know the drill. But, hey, until tomorrow, appreciate you all tuning in. Go Cox, beat Tennessee, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.